All right, so we are on now.
Okay.
Yes, I'll. Okay, so let me welcome you, my brother, to this interaction this morning. I call this show Pens Down. Yes.
Good morning, my brother, Steven.
Yeah. So how have you been, and how have you been keeping on? We see you do a lot of politics lately. How is it going for you?
How man for do? You know, as the philosopher Aristotle rightly said, humans by nature are political animals.
That's
so,
right.
Whether we like it or not, we will either be active or a passive politician. How man for do? You know, as the philosopher Aristotle rightly said, humans by nature are political animals.
That's right.
So, whether we like it or not, we will either be active or a passive politician.
That's right. You are right. I agree with that. Okay, so let's look at your media journey. You are a trained journalist yourself. How has your media journey been? Where did you start from? And what actually brought you into the media? Let's talk about it from the beginning.
Okay. Fortunately for me, yes. I got to know that I could do this media work at a very tender age.
Okay.
I think we were in SS1.
Okay.
Yes, we were in SS1. And my father had this microphone. It's called FM microphone. So on the microphone, you could tune to a certain frequency. And within a certain radius could also receive you on that frequency on their set.
Okay.
So we were in a dormitory, and I on the microphone. There was one guy, I think he's now with Fox FM.
Okay.
Roxon. He's the head of sports. Yeah, Roxon.
Okay.
So he said, okay, he's going to present sports. And I also said I'm going to be a DJ, and I'm going to do something like a music program. So we're doing that. We do our own radio stuff in the dormitory, not knowing that our colleagues in other houses far away from ours. I think it was from those of you who know Opokuare. We were in St. Luke, and guys were listening to us at St. Peter's and St. Paul. So when we went for
wait, I attended Opokuare.
Yes.
St. Luke is almost at one end of Opokuare because the only house which is after St. Luke is St. Andrew.
St. Andrew, yeah.
St. Peter's is at the extreme end, Matters of Uganda area.
Yes.
You mean you had that kind of coverage?
Yes. Yes.
Then so you covered the whole campus, literally.
Yes. Yeah. Seriously, I didn't know that microphone was that powerful. And because around that period, we didn't have a lot of radio stations, so I think the wave was not that tense like it is now in Ghana. Right. And the guys met us at dining hall, and they said, "Hey, Charlie, we were listening to you guys. So, how are you doing it? Oh, you guys are good, though." So, from that point, I realized, okay. So, if colleagues will appreciate our effort, then there's future for some of us. And because of radio and the love for media, I unfortunately even dropped out of school to pursue a career in broadcast journalism. So I went to Shaft FM in Obuasi.
Okay.
Yeah, I went to Shaft FM in Obuasi in the early 2000s.
Okay.
Yeah, I went there, and then I met the manager I told him I needed a job. I wanted to be a presenter. He said, "Oh, they were not recruiting."
You mean you walked in and you just like that? You said you needed a job.
Yes.
As who and with what qualification?
I just went there. I went there probably with my passion and as they would say, vim. So I met the guy, and the man said, "Oh, they are not recruiting. They are not recruiting. It's unfortunate." So I went back to Kumasi. I was based in Kumasi then, so I went back to Kumasi. And one day I had an idea that no, why don't I write to them that I want to do an attachment? I want to do an internship with them. So I drafted the letter, I got it typed and printed, and went straight to the manager again. And I told him that I want to do internship, and said, okay, then after internship they can give me the opportunity. So I started the internship.
That will place no financial burden on them.
Yes.
And you will be a ready tool for them to use.
That's right. And seriously, they used me. Yes, and that is how come some of us we've been through the drills and when it comes to broadcast journalism, especially with the radio. We went through it. At that time we were playing. You see, so when I went there, I was there as an attaché. They were not giving me anything to do. Once a while, the news editor, I'll go to him and he ask me to copy some stuff, and they changed the manager. So a new person was brought in to come and manage the station, Madam Owusu. And her brother was my senior in secondary school. So that's with a brother. So I went to him as a senior. Tell Madam, I want to do something. And then so we had that relationship. And one Sunday, a senior presenter called me that he will not be able to come and host his program. So he wants me to go and sit in for him. So I was made as a sitting host. And then the program was called Backtracking. So you play the old funk, old pop music, funk music. And fortunately for me, my dad is a music lover. So as for the records, I was quite familiar with some of them. And seriously, I did the show. And the next day, the madam called me and told me that, Masa, you saw Casadodo. What Casadodo? Program Casadodo. So I was worried. And I went to a senior colleague and I told him that Madam said me Casadodo and blah, blah, blah. So I said, oh, you shouldn't be worried because in radio, when they say, oh, Casadodo, you talk too much. It means you are good.
Oh, I see.
If you are not good, they will tell you straight up, you are not good. They will not even let you talk. They will tell you not to talk. Play music.
Wow.
So I said, oh, okay. So he just asked me to use the talking and, I said, okay. So eventually, I became the champion midfielder for Shaft FM. That was between 2000 and 2002 or the early part of 2003. And
Okay. We will come back to this, a continuation of it, but let me take this quick insert and then we come back to you.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes, you do. All the days of my life, I'll never cease to pray. My soul, you will die for me. I'll sing to you, give up everything for you. All the days of my life, all your days of my prayer. I'll never cease to pray. For the rain or shine, all the days of my life. But I promise you, I'll never cease to pray. Wherever you come, all the days of my life. Lord, I'll never cease to praise you. You show me love. Right, Sammy, welcome back.
Thank you so much, my brother.
At the beginning, I couldn't play the short promo video we did, so I had to bring it in at a point.
Okay.
Now you have spoken about Shaft FM, your madam's quote unquote unexpected comments, and how a colleague also poured some cold water on it to ensure that you did not burn out of that heat which was unleashed on you. Now, so beyond that 2002, where was your next stop, or how long did you stay with Shaft FM?
Okay, so at a point, I realized that though I was the youngest amongst the staff, I was more or less the MVP at the station. So
like the mahyeasea of the team.
Yeah, so I asked myself, so these are senior men and women who have been in this business for a long time, and because of my talent, I'm now, the talk of town. Yeah. Probably in the next few years, another guy too will come, who is having the talent and the certificate that I don't have.
Yeah.
So the person will come and I'll be benched.
Yeah.
I'll lose my relevance.
That's right.
And I thought that it was proper for me to pursue higher learning. Okay. To further my education. Yeah. So
and to secure yourself.
Yes, because I realized that I needed to add value to the talent.
Okay.
And around that period, I lost interest in Shaft FM. So I moved back to Kumasi.
Okay.
And
so on moving back to Kumasi, how many years of experience did you have under your belt?
Yes, I had about 3 years.
3 years.
Yes, about 3 years. Right. Yeah. So when I go to Kumasi with the intention of registering for NOVDEC and writing the exams and furthering my education, I realized that they had just established a new radio station. And it wasn't too far from my vicinity, So I went there and met the owner, Alaji. So I told Alaji, this radio you have established, I can help you. And I said, what can you do, small boy? I said, I have experience. I've worked with Shaft FM, blah, blah, blah. And said, Kumasi people, you can talk. And said, okay, he has heard me. So you call me. I should take his number and later we talk. I realized the call was not coming. So one day I said, no, let me go to the studio and record some jingles for the stage. But I realized we didn't have station ID. So I went to a friend's studio. I recorded Zuria. Zuria is an Arabic word. So I found out the meaning and it was family. Zuria in Arabic means family. So I did a jingle, Zuria Busia and other jingles. And I sent the CD to Alaji. He listened to it and said, wow, good job. And they were playing it. So they played it for about a month or two. And yet they did not give me the opportunity to be on air.
Really?
So I forgot about them. And then
your jingle was accepted, but you were not given a place.
Yeah, I wasn't given a place.
Wow.
Yes, I wasn't given a place. So and at that time too, because I was eager to write the NOVDEC and further my education, I went to a certain secondary school and met the assistant headmaster. Because I thought that because I was working and my mind was with work and money, it would be difficult for me to be in the house and just learn and write the exam. So I needed a school to enroll in for a year and prepare for the exam. So I went to the headmaster that I wanted to come and join the Form 3. She said, okay. Later I said, no, it's not possible unless I join the Form 2. Wow. And I said, okay, I will join the Form 2. So when I was going to pay the school fees, the assistant master said, no, his mind has changed. Unless I start from Form 1.
Probably because naturally you're a smallish person.
Oh, yes. So I said, okay, no problem. I'll do the Form 1. I paid the fees. Wow. I was in Form 1. And, on vacation, the school was in Jaso, around Konongo, Jaso Secondary Technical School. So on vacation, I came back home and went to Alaji again. And this time around, Alaji said, okay, I no try no, but 30 minutes. So they gave me 30 minutes on air. And I was in the studio in about 20 minutes, yes. It was about 20 minutes into the program, and Alaji entered the studio and said, Yaro, Kaiko Keripa, and I was meaning, hey, young boy, you've done well. So he said, I should do 1 hour.
Wow.
Oh, 10 minutes time, he came back and said, no, I should do up to 12. So rather, I should do 2 hours. And I told him that I had prepared for 30 minutes. So if you let me do it, that's the 1 hour. He said, then go bezo, tomorrow come. So the next day I went, that was it. So later on, I managed to ride the North Deck, and then I got the grace, and it was the late regional president, Ashanti regional president, GJA, Samuel Enning.
Oh yeah.
He was my boss at Sharck FM. At the time, they had come to Ash FM. So he was always advising me, Tender, you are good, but go to school, go to school, go to school. So I said, okay, you let me go to GIJ for him. And I enrolled in GIJ in
hold on. You said
2006.
You were going to GIJ for him.
Yes, for him. Because seriously, he was always giving me pressure. Okay, you let me go to GIJ and please add value to their talent. So I enrolled in GIJ, and I think in the second year or so, we're supposed to do industrial attachment. So I sent my letter to Peace FM at that time at my 7. So I got there, and Mr. Fache, he saw me. I entered his office. Hey, gentleman, what brings you to my office? You've lighted my day with your smile. Come.
Wow. Wow.
Bringing my letter for internship. I said, oh, I can read the news, do sports commentary, I can host the morning show. I said, I can do shows. So can you read the news? I said, yes. I said, okay, bring in some newspapers. And they brought me some news items, and then I.
Unfortunately, we seem to have lost my brother, Sammy. Very engaging interaction we were having here on his media journey. He'll be joining us back in a bit so that we continue. Welcome back, Sammy.
Thank you, bro. Sorry for the technical distance. Yeah. So I didn't go problem. I thought it would be difficult for me to combine school with work, knowing how I love radio so much. In my life, I've always dreamt of being a radio presenter. And I didn't go back. I managed to complete school and then did my national service. And after the national service, I thought of going back, but I considered the conditions of service of radio presenters that I know, those that I left back in Kumasi, and how things were for them. So I wasn't that motivated. So I wanted to divert. And I went for further studies at the University of Ghana. And it was around that time that I went to MC a program. For Mahyeasea, jhay. She's a presenter with Angel FM now. That time she was with Top FM, Top Radio. It was a birthday, and I was the MC. So after I was on campus one day, and I received a call, and it was the one of the owners of Top FM. And she introduced herself that she was at the party. She saw how I MC the program, and she spoke to Ahima concerning me, joining them to work to host their early afternoon show, blah, 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 blah. So, and I told her that, okay, I'll give it a try. At
that time it was top radio, am I right? That time.
That was top radio, yes. Yeah, this is 2010.
Right.
Yeah, this was in 2010.
Yeah.
So I joined them, and then I was working with them for a while. We worked for about 10 months or so. And I left.
Before you continue, at JIJ, did you do a diploma program or a degree program?
I did a diploma.
You did a diploma, and you became a student leader at a point, or am I right?
Yes. I became the president of the Students Representative Council.
Wow.
Yes,
wow. It looks like your ability to talk is always the marketing tool that takes you to open doors wherever you go.
In fact, from the biblical, account of creation, things came to being by words.
That's right. Sure.
Yeah. So God said, "Let there be this, let there be that, let there be So it's about talking. Yes. I love journalism.
Okay.
That is why I find it difficult to do any other, job apart from media-related job.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and I believe that it's a calling. And even though it's a calling, at a point, I realized it was not just about the passion, but ability to make ends meet.
That's right. So, how long have you been in journalism practice from your SHS days that you started your adventure up to now? About how many years now?
So roughly, we can say 20 years.
20 good years. Wow.
Yeah, 20 years.
Now that's a lot of experience.
Yes, and I've had the opportunity to work in other parts of the country. It started from Obuasi, I went to Kumasi, later on I came to Accra to work with the Top FM and Pink FM in Kaswa, Central Region. And then I went to Bunahafo, Sunyane, to work with Storm FM. So
that sounds like the career of a politician who has traveled the country.
this is the career of the struggling journalist.
But Sammy, let's look at it this way. The media profession, the media fraternity, or journalism in particular, is losing a lot of trained professionals to other areas.
Yes.
You have been in the media space for a while. I'm sure you have trained colleagues. And what is accounting for this kind of state of affairs?
I always say that the media or journalism in Ghana, as it stands now, is not yet a profession. Yes.
Why would you say?
Okay, so if anybody wants to be a teacher, okay, you go through the teacher training system in Ghana here, and then you are awarded a Set A or Diploma or Bachelor of Arts in Education. So you are certified as a teacher, right? And now you even write licensure exams. Okay. If anybody wants to be a doctor, you have to go through the medical training and to be professionally called to be member of the GMA, Ghana Medical Association.
That's right.
If you want to be a lawyer, you have to go through the training. No matter how elegant you are, no matter how serious you are, you still have to go through it. Even if you have the LLB, you still have to do the professional law course in Ghana before you are even called to the bar. So that is professionalism. It has a point of entry and point of exit.
That's right.
I get in a point. So no matter the number of years you work in the hospital as a janitor or as an accountant, you never pass for a nurse.
That's right. That's true.
Yeah, but as for journalism in Ghana, we are yet to really define who a journalist is.
Yeah, you're right.
Anyone who knows how to talk, like in my case, because I could vibe, I could talk, I could flow. I had opportunity to work as a broadcast journalist. And there are a lot of people like that.
Yeah.
Some went for funerals and they were MCs at the funeral and said, this guy can talk.
Some were also DJs at funerals.
Yes. And they are all now into the mainstream journalism. So who can disqualify someone from being a journalist? And who can qualify someone to be a journalist in Ghana? There's nothing like that. So it's not yet a profession. It's not yet a profession, yeah.
Will that be the reason? I mean, the absence of a clear-cut definition of who the professional is. Would that be the reason a good number of trained professionals are looking elsewhere for survival?
Yes, there are few opportunities in the journalism industry in Ghana here, or broadcast or media industry in Ghana. You understand? So if you have a lot of people chasing the few opportunities, automatically the value on labor is going to reduce. Because the supply is more than the demand. Therefore, what do you think is not appropriate for you as a professionally trained journalist? Someone who can talk or who just feel like I want to be on radio so that I can dedicate songs to my girlfriends or boyfriends or to people who know me, will just come and tell the director that, oh, I will take half of the amount this guy is refusing to take. One of the worst paid professionals in Ghana are journalists. There are very few who are taking huge sums of money. You can go to a media house and you can have one person taking, let's say, for example, 8,000 cedis. And the majority or the average will be taking home like 500 cedis.
A month. And some of these are married children.
So upon all my experience, when I finally landed a job at Pink FM in Kaswa, at that time I had my diploma in journalism or diploma in communication studies from jhay, and I also had my first degree, Bachelor of Arts degree from the University of Ghana. And I got a job at Pink FM, and I was being paid 200 cedis a month.
Which year was that?
2013.
2013?
Yes, sir.
With a diploma in communication studies from GIG.
Yes.
And a first degree from Lagos, you were receiving 200 cedis a month.
200 cedis a month. And I think the highest paid around that time was 300.
There is something called solely in the practice of journalism.
Yes.
I will not impose my position on this discussion. But looking at your situation and the figure
I know you are against Soleh. I know you are one of the people behind journalists against Soleh. And I know. When it comes to Soleh, I know your stance. I know.
Very well. But Soleh, I'm looking at this figure you have quoted.
Yes.
Is any fight against Soleh a battle that can be won with this kind of reality you painted? Will it ever be won?
It's like a preacher man, okay? Tells a young lady who is surviving on the packet of a boyfriend,
that's right,
okay, to flee from fornication. In as much as the lady would love to flee from fornication or quit that relationship, it is still coming back to the issue of survivor. So the best the preacher man can do is to help the lady secure her own accommodation, her own job or ways of making ends meet legitimately rather than depending on the guy. So no amount of tongues or deliverance can set that lady free. Faith is back with action. In that same way, if a journalist like me, who was 200 Ghana cedis, okay.
So by that 2013, how many years of experience did you have by that 2013? That's more than 10 years, right?
Yeah, more than 10 years.
More than 10 years plus a diploma and a degree, and
yes,
your
sir.
salary was 200 cedis. Was there any benefit attached to the salary?
No, there was no benefit.
Nothing,
the only thing you could get,
like transport or whatever.
Nothing at all. Nothing at all. What they did was that they gave me accommodation for 1 year. So they paid 1 year rent advance for me.
Okay. And beyond the 1 year, you had to sort out yourself.
And the rent was 40 Ghana cedis per month. So if you add the 40 cedis to the
Is this really happening?
Oh yes. And I can't remember one day a colleague of mine from Lagos, she called and said, "Hey, Afriyie, you are lucky. As for you, immediately after school, you are working, so please help me get a job." I said, "Okay, what kind of job do you want?" So any job that can pay me like 1,000 Ghana cedis.
When at you were looking for probably what will give you 500.
And I was then being paid 200 cedis. I told her, "Okay, yes, when I found one, I'll let you know."
Wow.
You know,
wow.
So, and there were others too who were working. You see, when I went to Storm FM in 2014, I went there as a manager and a presenter at the same time. So we did the review of the staff and their, conditions of service. And I realized that about 50% of them were not even on salary.
Which region is that based?
Now, Bono, at the time was BA. Bono is in Sunyane.
I see. Which year is that?
2014.
What percentage of the staff were not being paid?
About 50, yeah.
About 50%. How were they surviving?
And on Sole and Payola.
So in the light of all these, will corruption ever become a thing of the past in media practice? Will corruption ever become a thing of the past in media practice in Ghana? I don't know if you can hear me. It looks like your video is frozen. We are hoping to get in back once its network is stable so that we can continue this conversation. This is PENSDOWN. It's a live interaction with journalists and media practitioners generally, where we try to understand their journalism journey. But most important to this discussion is the fact that we want to understand why there is such a level of attrition among journalists, especially for those that have been professionally trained. They've gone through professional training, they have certificates, and they have the kind of training that can help them deliver quality journalism to advance our democracy. We seem to be seeing a good number of them moving away. Today you see one is gone here, tomorrow the other is gone there. Why is that happening? And how can that situation be managed? We'll be right back. Yes, you do. All the days of my life. My soul, you never, you died for me. Give up everything for me. All the days of my life. It's not my friend. I'll never cease to wait. Yes, you do. I'll sing to you. Lord, I'll sing your praise. All the days of my life. I'll never cease to praise you. The blood of my soul. You desire. You will die. I'll sing to you. Give up everything for me. All the days of my life. All your moments of my prayer. I'll never cease to praise you. For the rain or shine. All the days of my life. But I promise you, I'll never cease to praise you. When I can come on. All the days of my life. Lord, I'll never cease to praise you. You show me love. Welcome back. The program is Hands Down. On this platform, we give opportunity to media practitioners in general and journalists in particular, and try to walk through their media journey. We'll be talking to 7 journalists and those who have found themselves in other professions or areas for survival. We'll try to understand for the 7 journalists what has kept them in the profession up until now, and for those who left, what was the turn-off that took them away. We'll be interacting those issues. Along the line, we'll be speaking to some media employers, that is some media owners, and other stakeholders like trainers in the media space. We want to understand and go into the skin of the issue to get the reality as far as what exactly is happening is concerned. We are in a discussion with Mr. Samuel Owusu Afriyie. He's a journalist with about 20 years experience, and he was telling us his journalism. He was talking to us about his journalism journey, the ups and downs, and sharing his perspective about issues bordering on journalism in Ghana. I think we have him back. He's trying to get back. Sammy, if you can hear me, welcome back.
Thank you so much, bro.
Yes, sorry, I think we lost you to the poor network. It's one of the things we are grappling with in this town. Let's see if we can continue from there. So, okay. So 50% of the staff of that media house were not being paid, solely and those things for their survival. So I was asking, in the light of that, do you think corruption in the media will ever be given a deadly blow? Will it ever?
My brother Stephen, it's not about corruption in the media. It's about corruption in the country. Are you aware that the government of Ghana, not just today, for a long time, the practice has been in existence for a long time. They employ people and they work for over a year without pay. As we speak now in Ghana, there are nurses who have worked for about 8 months. So how do you prevent such people from engaging in corrupt practices?
In fact, on that one, I am an example. I did my national service at PURC. Beyond national service, I was there for 2 years. I was only on an allowance. There was no salary for the entire 2 years. So when I got tired, I decided that I would leave. Lest I get swallowed up by a certain system, probably through corruption or any other means, because integrity was critical to some of us and we didn't want to compromise.
Yeah. So it will be difficult for journalists not to be corrupted. Imagining going to report on a program or an event at a national theater.
That's right.
And you work with a radio station or a TV station located in Kaise, and you are being paid, 400 cedis a month.
Yeah.
You are not going there to listen to the speakers. You are not going there to probe anything. You are just going there for the envelope. And in my few years of practice as a public relations officer, okay, I've had issues with journalists, pressurizing me, even assaulting me over
sometimes
Solid.
It's humiliating and really embarrassing.
Solid, the journalists in Ghana, they don't joke with Solid.
It's a life and death situation for many.
And the DJs and the radio presenters, they don't joke with Payola.
Wow. There are even some senior journalists who are newsroom based, but they use the beat journalists, that is those who go on reporting assignments, as couriers for their own solid. So he goes for a program, let's say at National Theatre. The organizer knows he has a boss in the office. So he gives this person who came solely, and then he'll give another fat template to him and tell him, when you go, hand it over to so and so. Immediately they get to the office. That senior journalist is much more interested in the envelope that is coming than in the report that is to be filed.
Yes, if you don't add the solid, your story. So as for the solid, they say it's solidarity, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm told.
It is in solidarity with the poor condition of service of the journalists. At a point, I told myself and other colleagues that I would not report on demonstration, especially from the Ghana registered nurses or medical as GMA or any other professional bodies, because if they are demonstrating because of their condition of service, and I will not go and report because my condition is worse.
Exactly.
So at the point I said me to report, and the nurses are going on strike because they have not been paid their whatever incremental allowances and blah blah blah. I said me, this story I will not do it.
But you see, that brings a very serious issue into mind. Do you know the media appears to be the only industry that gives a voice to everybody, but goes numb or goes dumb when it's their turn?
It's like the junior rank officers in the various security agencies. They are doing the job. They are protecting civilians, but they are not able to protect themselves from. So it's an unfortunate situation we have in Ghana here, and I think the earlier we do something about it, the better, because the quality of governance of every country depends on the quality of journalism.
That's right.
Because journalist's job is to let you know what the other person does not want you to know because it's bad.
That's right.
And now it seems the polarization of the media is even causing more problem for us because we have so many radio stations and TV stations and media outlets. Okay, and because of that, they are not making much profit too.
That's right.
When I worked as a media marketer too, that was one of the problems I discovered. That the radio station, the TV station are so much. There are so many that advertiser cannot afford to, advertise on a lot of platforms. And
that's right.
Advertising too is now expensive, and with the advent of the social media too, they are losing a lot of grounds. They are losing a lot of revenue. So it is making it difficult for them to raise enough money to support the day-to-day running of the stations or media firms. But
I think
also,
this regrettable state of affairs that we find ourselves in empowers politicians to further mess the media up and then get away with wrongdoing.
Oh, but let's look at the ownership of the media now.
It's more political.
Yes, majority of the owners are politicians. They are either politicians or they are financiers of some political parties. You understand?
That's right. That's
right. It is going to get worse. It is going to get worse. Seriously, I'm afraid for the future of the media in Ghana if things will go on the way they are going now. It's unfortunate.
Now let's come back to you. We want to look at the politician in you. Now you have found a new love, politics. And these days you are the communications director. Mention your party again.
Liberal Party of Ghana, LPG.
LPG, fantastic. Now, what has your entry into mainstream politics exposed you to something different or something much more challenging than you knew?
I've been exposed to the real nature and extent of corruption in Ghana. I've been exposed to the real nature and extent of deprivation in Ghana. And I've come to realize that the problem that I thought was a big problem is rather a huge one.
I see. I see. And what do you see as the way out?
We need to build people of integrity or people with integrity. And we need to appreciate that life is transient. And as such, there's judgment, whether after death or when you are alive. And we also need to change our political culture. I think it's too early for Ghana to be practicing this kind of duopoly we have been practicing. Yeah, America and other developed democracies, they did not just come to a two-party affair just like that. It took them a long way to come to two dominant party, politicking. So, assuming we had other political parties represented in parliament, and the kind of legislation they could pass, the kind of quality they could bring to bear. Can you hear me? I think
I can hear you. I can hear you.
Yeah, so I think that we all have to put our hands on deck, especially people like you. I can imagine a day when Ghana will have a president whose integrity I can vouch for, like you. When Ghana will have leaders in a various, roles of leadership, from the home, the national, people of integrity and substance like you. And that is the best way to go. But it's going to be very, very difficult, because if you want to be a man of integrity like Stephen Jesse, then you should know what you are, calling for.
But I want to believe that your entry into politics is also meant to sanitize the system from your own corner.
Yes, and that is what makes it very, very, very difficult. I've had people ask me, "You are so good. Why didn't you join any of the two main political parties?" And that's where you can get money faster. That's why everybody tells me that's why you can get money faster. But it's not about money.
Yeah.
It's not about money. It's about impact. It's about leaving a legacy. It's about being able to render a good account of my stewardship at the end of the day. You understand? That is what we are looking at, and I think that we all have to do more.
Okay, I will be wrapping up in a bit. But let's look at, the advent of social media also launched the journalism careers of millions of untrained people. In the name of citizen journalism. Now we have bloggers and what have you, parading and filling up the space. How do we get to bring some sort of sanity in that area too? Because it appears that almost automatically they are taking over the role of trained journalists.
And fortunately and unfortunately, the traditional media too are beginning to follow the social media trends.
That's
so
right.
You realize that they are all having their social media platforms and handles. So I think those who are sane
That's
should
right.
try and flash out the insanity.
That's going to be a tough sell. You know, these days, even there are some traditional media houses that pick gossips direct from the platforms of bloggers without verification, whatever. I'm talking about very popular news websites.
That will tell us the extent of journalism. The extent of journalism, you know, the extent of professionalism. We have relegated ethics to the background. You know, it's simple. The ABC, okay, of journalism: accuracy, balance, and clarity. And the simple rule is that if you are in doubt, leave out.
That's right.
If you are in doubt, just leave out. Leave out that story. Don't be the first to break the story. And
I think the commercialization of news, appears to be pushing people into absurd realms.
Oh yes. It's unfortunate. And unfortunately too, I think I've run out of battery. I have one bar, and
sorry.
Any moment
no problem.
I might go off.
I think this is where we will pull the brakes with you. We truly appreciate your time spent with us. I'm sure there will be other issues that will come in the future, and I'll beckon you to come back again. So thanks a lot, my brother, for your time with us. And we are trusting that when we call you again, you open your doors to us.
They say the pen is mightier than the sword.
That's right.
But now we are putting the pen down to pick up the sword.
No. We are not putting the pen down. We are only taking media people off their routine so we can talk to them.
Oh, okay.
That is all about PENSDOWN. Thanks a lot.
Oh, okay. Okay, then I'm going to pick up my pen again and
that's right.
Get back to work.
Right.
Thank you so much, bro.
You're welcome. Okay.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Give up everything for me. All the days of my life. My friend. I'll never cease to pray. Will the rain or shine? All the days of my life. But I'm always still. I'll never cease to pray. What to come? All the days of my life. Lord, I'll never cease to pray. You show me love.
Thank you very much for your time with us today. I don't take your company for granted. We truly appreciate the time you spent watching this and joining us today. Be sure to subscribe so that next time when we are live, you'll be notified. The Lord be with us all. Keep well.